Well, we'll get it started. So, welcome. My name is Elizabeth Bush. I am a program manager here for the implementation partner program at Configura. So, I'm very excited to announce one of our implementation partners, Cervex. From them, we have Sandra, Pedro, and Nick. They'll be talking about the evolution of the specification industry and migration into CET. If you attended a session prior to this, then you probably have heard this. Just some light housekeeping. We're using Zoom webinar for this breakout session, so you won't be able to unmute your mic or turn on your webcam. If you can still participate, there is a chat function at the bottom as well as a Q&A. Please feel free to send any messages or any questions that you might have throughout the presentation, and Cervix will get back to you in whatever, if they want to do it during the presentation or at the end. It's kind of up to them. But yes, and if you need to be unmuted, please use the raise your hand function, and I can unmute you at the end of the presentation if you need to explain anything. But with that being said, I'm very excited to welcome Cervex.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Glad to be here. Glad to be here virtually, especially. So yeah, will be presenting today. My name's Nick Fernandez, president and owner of Cervex since 2004. Sandra Rodriguez is joining us as well, along with Pedro Gutierrez. And I want to review a little history, my history, the background of how Cervex got into creating these e-catalogs, our partnership with Project Matrix, my resource library, our various different levels of catalog implementation, and CET's new configuration tool. So I'll kick it off with, I know many people have been mentioning their last day in the office. Mine was also March 13th. And we were lucky enough to have just redone our entire offices. So all of our staff had been working from home since November, and we got back to the office in January and had a wonderful month there, and COVID struck, and we're back at home, and we're going to be home until the rest of the year. So it was it's been a fun year. But my background goes back many decades in contract spending for my family business. We were Herman Miller distributors in South America. And I guess my official start is in 2002, 2003, working for a furniture distributor in New York City. And that dealer at the time was both a Technion dealer and an Allsteel distributor. And this dual distribution role helped me, realize the importance of being on these specification platforms and how big of an impact it would have for a manufacturer if they weren't represented on these platforms. At the time, I believe it was 2020 and Project Matrix that this dealer had. It was Furniture Consultants, FCI in New York City. They're still a powerhouse in the Big Apple, so glad to hear that. But they're only a Technion dealer today. But back then, what manufacturers would do would substitute another manufacturer that had created their digital content for Project Matrix, and we would substitute in another manufacturer at the dealer level that had created their catalogs that was similar to that manufacturer that dealer would want to sell. And that basically was the way that reps and dealers got around specifying and selling manufacturers' products that were not on the industry specification platforms of the time. And so I look at that example and I say that there is a similar story being played out today with CET. I'll touch base on that in a second, but bottom line, a dealer or a salesperson at a dealership or a designer at a dealership is not going to sell and not going to specify a product in which is difficult to specify and price out. So long story short, I see the similar story being played out with CET today with the PGC extensions and what CET is allowing for manufacturers to do to streamline that design process. So it's a nice, full roundabout story from manufacturers simply getting on the electronic catalogs back in the early 2000s to now, where they really have an advantage to separate themselves from the competition by creating your PGC extensions to to drive more business to those products. So yeah, that's a brief background of what we see going on today. And we put together this little video outlining that. So Sandra, if you want to play that to Pedro.
The late 90s don't seem so bad anymore, right? Office cubicles kept our conversations private, and panels were 2 feet thick for wire management. This is a short story illustrating some evolutions in contract office furniture and how aspects of design and specification platforms have evolved with the introduction of CET. Nicole is a salesperson at an office furniture dealership. She just landed a new project and runs over to the design department to specify Carrot cubicles. The designer tells Nicole she can't sell Carrot cubicles because they haven't invested in creating their digital content for 2020. The designer would have to manually substitute in another manufacturer who
Technical difficulties.
You're not hearing it, right?
No.
has invested in their digital content to be on 2020, and Nicole just doesn't have time for that.
Sorry about that. It was working. Let me show again.
These don't seem so bad anymore, right? Office cubicles kept our conversations private, and panels were 2 feet thick for wire management. This is a short story illustrating some evolutions in contract office furniture and how aspects of design and specification platforms have evolved with the introduction of CET. Nicole is a salesperson at an office furniture dealership. She just landed a new project and runs over to the design department to specify Carrot cubicles. The designer tells Nicole she can't sell Carrot cubicles because they haven't invested in creating their digital content for 2020. The designer would have to manually substitute in another manufacturer who has invested in their digital content to be on 2020, and Nicole just doesn't have time for that. Back in the late 90s, all a manufacturer had to do was have their digital content created for the industry specification platforms based on CAD and data for their product options. Fast forward to 2021. Offices are wireless, allowing for product innovation and more configurable product options. Nicole now leads her sales team and got a project with several hundred workstations, mobile conference rooms, configurable soft seating, but it's due tomorrow. Nicole tries to specify Carrot cubicles again, but they haven't invested in the PGC CET extension. The designer tells Nicole that if she needs it by tomorrow, she has to sell Blueberry Manufacturing out of Grand Rapids because they have a CET extension that streamlines the design process and makes their products parametric, meaning as a designer lays out the furniture, he can stretch out the products and the CET extension automatically updates pricing and bill of materials in real time. Blueberry Manufacturing's investment in PGC extensions is a great return on investment because salespeople like Nicole and designers are more likely to sell and specify them over manufacturers that might not have extensions. The good news is that not all products need PGC extensions. All a manufacturer needs to do is contact Cervex, who's been creating e-catalogs for the industry since 2004, and see what level of content you need. Perhaps all you need to do is update your content from the late 90s to meet CET standards.
All right, awesome. So that kind of walked us through the evolution. And so not a lot has changed in regards to creating our e-catalogs. The same principles apply to garbage in, garbage out. Once we create the DWG files and the data, it is a trickle-down effect on how that's going to work in your catalogs moving forward if that information is not input correctly. So the same as what we've been doing, or how we've been maintaining catalogs for existing manufacturers, is simply updating the DWG files, updating the SIFT data, and linking the two. Now, in that process, we were introduced to My Resource Library from our good friend Larry Birch at Project Matrix, who steered us towards helping them modify their attributes their data in my resource library, so that when we create a catalog for Project Matrix, the e-catalogs for CET, we're modifying the CIF in a way that my resource library can read that information and make their products searchable. And that's a huge step for my resource library, because it allows you as at the dealer level to search for a product, for instance, stools, and all those manufacturers that have enriched their data will then show up on the My Resource Library browser. And that's an added benefit of what we offer when we create these e-catalogs for Project Matrix or CET. So Sandra is going to walk you through how that looks as well.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Well, with the partnership that we have with Emerald, our customers benefit from populating both the industry specification platforms and Emerald content all at once. We enhance the specification e-catalogs to work with Emerald to help the specification process run more efficiently. When Cervex modifies the data, we can populate Emerald binders with all necessary information to work with their digital binders, thus making product searchable in the browser by creating categories and subcategories. In addition to populating the data, Cervex can also use the CAD files and generate products renderings to ensure every model of your Emerald brochure has an image. Let's see how it works. Cytinic is one of our customers that enhances his zip file with us. So you can see how different it looked like. All the products have their categories, part number, descriptions, and an image, so you can easily find them. In addition to that, part numbers allow us to link files for drag and drop into different platforms like Project Matrix and CET Designer. So you can see there's a different categories that help us to find everything on there. This drag and drop feature in CET Designer is possible thanks to the CET extension that we built for them. Some of you should know this feature already, but I would show you a sample just in case. This is Kimball. They have some typicals ready for the users. They are included in Emerald binders. And as a user, you only need to drag and drop the file into CET. So for instance, you select this typical, you just need to drag on, yes, with the favorite from CET, you just drag and drop, and it makes the magic. Now, you can ask yourselves, I want to be on CET, how do I get a quote? How do I start my CET journey with Cervex? How can I get all the benefits with CET, Project Matrix, and Emerald all at once? So let's see how you can do it. You should provide us your price book or a specification sheet specifying the products that you want to implement. In case that you have existing 3D models, we can use them as a reference when creating the models with CET standards or 2020 or Project Matrix standards. Most of all customers are already in other specification platforms like 2020, Giza, Project Matrix, or Pecan. The data and symbols are compatible with CET, reducing the time in building the CET extension. Nick, I don't.
Yeah, so this is the procedures of how we're working on creating the quotes, and one important factor that we've added to the process is the UX and the user experience with Viviana, who joined Cervex 13 years ago as in the design and specification department. And And that's important to note that we are a design and specification firm first. That's how we got into the business, is providing back office design and space planning services to office furniture dealers and manufacturers, a service in which we still offer and still work with today. And so Viviana has been specifying Steelcase, Herman Miller, AIS, Crew, KI, all of them, dozens more for 13 years, and brings a unique background from a designer's point of view, a specifier's point of view. And her role is going to be to communicate with our clients, find out what products have those bottlenecks that are seen from a designer's point of view, and communicate that to the project manager and the developers on our side so that we can come up with solutions to streamline the design process while leveraging our background in specification. And then that brings us to the different types of catalogs that we offer. When we get a client, we analyze the information, we analyze their distribution channels, we figure out what their objectives are. We want to know what their best sellers are, where their pain points are. And from there, we've come up with a good, better, and best type of implementation. Good is the Project Matrix plugin. Better is updating your CAD and data to meet CET standards. And best is the Rolls Royce of the PGCs that will do whatever you want. And then we provide a quote. But Sandra has a quick video to outline those different levels.
Yeah, sure. So at the end, when you get a quote from us, you always get two separate quotes, one for the catalog creation and one from the extension development, depending on the type of implementation that best suits your products. So let's see the video.
If you're interested in implementing CET for your product lines,
I don't know why it's not working.
this video will help you understand the different levels that are available within CET. We categorize each catalog as good, better, and best. The Project Matrix plugin for CET is classified as good because it allows dealers who have CET access to all the manufacturers who publish their data with Project Matrix for only $395 a year. As a designer at the dealer level, what you have to do is download the Project Matrix catalog from the plugin, specify the options, and the symbol will be placed in the CET designer. This option is a bit limiting regarding rendering capabilities because it doesn't have any color or finish fabrics applied to the CAD symbols. So you would have to manually apply each finish to the layers on each symbol. Although the symbols aren't static, meaning they're not very dynamic or parametric, you can still use them to specify and generate an accurate bill of materials. The second type of implementation we categorized as better. This consists of utilizing all the CAD symbols and SIF we created for 2020 and Project Matrix and simply optimizing them for CET. We create a CET catalog and leverage it into a shell extension, which is a low programming extension. One of the advantages of this implementation is finish and color mapping, which can be applied to the layers, thus improving the rendering capabilities. Another benefit is that symbols can also be altered by changing the options. Allow me an example of a shell extension that we created. This gives the manufacturer visibility on Configura's marketplace. The marketplace is where all the manufacturers who have published extensions on Configura appear. This makes it easier for dealers to find and specify those manufacturers. Magnuson Group is another example of a manufacturer we have worked with using this level of catalog implementation. For example, this screen, although not parametric, it can be modified to change the options of the mounting desk shown here, or even change the height by modifying the options in the data. These are some of the simple features that this type of catalog implementation allows. On the calculation window, the designer can also see a list of all the materials, options, pricing, and can modify them as well as needed. The third level of implementation we offer is a full PGC extension. PGC stands for Parametric Graphical Configuration. We categorize this level of implementation as the best because the sky's the limit in regards to what you can program into the e-catalogs. Uhuru is a good example of a PGC catalog we worked on, and it demonstrates this level of implementation. Here you can see how a designer can intuitively stretch the symbol, and the PGC extension automatically updates the bill of materials. These features simplify the design process and reduce specification errors, as well as design time. You can also add rules, restrictions, and many other bells and whistles. For example, Uhuru has many lines with different lead times. We programmed an extension restricting that internally limits the designer at the dealer level and makes it impossible for them to specify two different product lines with different lead times. And these are the three ways that manufacturers can publish their catalogs on CET. To learn more.
So that video is a little outdated just because of the new releases from Project Matrix and version 5, which look fantastic and increasing their rendering capabilities and a few other things. But it's still a great option for manufacturers, the small manufacturers that might only be on Project Matrix, to utilize that plugin to gain access to the dealer market that uses CET. And the catalog extension that we have is the better, and that's simply reusing your existing CAD files, data, whether that comes from your internal resources. Many times we're working with manufacturers that have internal resources, take a shot at creating this data and drawings, and then bring it to us. 9 times out of 10, we have to modify it and redraw it, but that's what we do. Or they bring it from another platform like Project Matrix. In addition to this catalog extension, we're also creating shell extensions. So it's a step up to give those manufacturers visibility in the marketplace, even though they might not have a full PGC extension. And then the last is obviously a full PGC extension that you can offer the sky's the limit really, and where we really need to better educate our manufacturer clients as to what's available and work with them to better understand their bottlenecks. So those are the 3 levels, and it's a long road. You know, a lot of manufacturers start out with the Project Matrix plugin by getting a Project Matrix, then see that they do need to have a catalog extension. So we help them with that. And as the time goes, they might want to incorporate PGC extensions into parts of their catalogs based on their various requirements, whether it's a product that sells a lot or simply needs to be the design process streamlined. We can piecemeal it in that way. So
yes. We have on here a clarification from Larry. Thank you very much. He's saying that the $395 price is paid by the user to get all the 200 manufacturers. So it's not paying but by the manufacturer. Okay. So thank you very much, Larry, for the clarification. We should, as Nick says, we should update the video.
We got to update it with your mug.
Yes.
All right. So Pedro is going to take it away with a sample of a configurator tool that CET has been offering, and we've been training with Pontus and the group to better offer to our clients. And this goes with our thesis of we've made the investment if you're a manufacturer, you've made the investment in getting on Project Matrix or CET, and you have your electronic catalogs created. This is a really cool tool that CET has offered so that manufacturers can utilize all the work and investment that we've put into creating the back end portion of these catalogs and utilize it on the front end so that your end users can now visualize your products in a configurator tool and leverage your CET investment. One thing that we have been doing on our side that's in Servex that's not related to CET is our own configurator tool for non-PGC products. And it's a huge undertaking managing all this information and setting this up for non-CET users. But so I emphasize, if we have this capability, we really want to show what it can do, and it's a great tool. If Pedro, you want to show some samples?
Yes,
This is a sample we created.
yes, as you say, as developer, it's very hard to achieve this kind of configurator, and Configura has made a great job. As you can see, the quality of the models, of 3D models, is, and this demo, this is a demo that we designed for show to our clients. So this can be this style can be adapted to the client website. All the optional features that you found on the catalog are shown here on the configurator tool, and is easy to update, since when you update the catalog, automatically you will see the update here on your website.
And it allows for you guys, the developers, to focus on designing the right user interface rather than focusing on all the intricacies of figuring out the back ends of this configurator tool.
Exactly. It's managed by the Configura's API and SDK. And as you can see, you can show here any kind of products like boards, tables, chairs, bench. Basically, any product that can be configurable it can be here in the configurator tool, and that's opened the doors for CET to a lot of manufacturers.
Absolutely. Excellent. So that concludes our summary of brief history of myself and where Servex came from and where we're going. I think it's a really exciting journey we're on with CET, and we're really excited for the future. So if anybody has any questions, comments, let me know. Jennifer, it's great to have you on. I hear your project's going great.
Awesome job, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Oh, good. I'm glad to see our guys chiming in.
Yes.
It's exciting to see where CET is going, and how it was. I remember a conference 4 years ago where it was, what did CET want to do? And it was like, everything. We want to take over McDonald's and AutoCAD and everything. So, now they have much more of a focused objective, which I think will help focus their objectives on those industries, which are great. Material handling, kitchen and bath, and what are we calling now? Office furniture? It's like interiors?
Yeah, interior.
Interiors, because that's going to include lighting and wall covering. And
yeah, some cool stuff. Definitely some cool changes coming with Configura too.
Absolutely. Well, if we have no questions, that means we're just perfect.
Clearly, I mean, that's what I would assume. But excellent work. Yeah, if people have questions, please feel free to, like I said, you can raise your hand and I can unmute you. Or if you want to ask them in the Q&A down at the bottom, either is fine. We have plenty of time still. I know the next session does not kick off until 3:50. So this one typically will end around 3:40. So please feel free to hang on if you have questions. If you don't, that's okay too.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Absolutely.
Larry, I'll see you soon.
Cool. Well,
All
if we don't have any questions, feel free. We'll do the same thing. If you guys want to just put up your starter slide again, we can have that put on the screen. So when people do come in for the next session, but feel free to go take a little break. And then I know the next session starts at 3:50. So just try to come back, 5-10 minutes before, and then we can get everything set up again.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sure. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
See you soon.